little bit about myself. My name is Sabin Muzaffar, and as Michelle said, I am the founder and executive editor of Ananke. It is a digital platform empowering women through awareness, education, and advocacy. We showcase visionary women as role models for young, aspiring women and men, everyone to be inspired, get inspiration, and emulate. Ananke is also a platform where we, highlight all topics, literally under the sun with a gender lens. As far as my experience, my professional experience is concerned, I have more than 20 years of experience in print and digital media. I was also selected as UN Women's Empower Women Global Champion for Women's Economic Empowerment, and then later became their mentor. I was also selected as Sherry Blair Foundation's mentor. So that's a little bit about myself. So it all began when I was in, graduating high school. So roundabout when I was your age, eons ago. I began working as a journalist at a local newspaper in Pakistan, and 10 years down the line, we moved to Dubai, and started working here. I've basically freelanced and contributed to international dailies and media outlets, digital and otherwise. And one of my key roles during that time was interviewing movers and shakers of the corporate world. And the corporate world comprises 70-80% of men. So it got me thinking, why not showcase female role models as well? So that was around 2012, 2013. And that's when I decided that, we need a platform. Yes, there are many platforms like Forbes Women and other such amazing platforms, World Pulse, etc. And I began, thinking about Ananke. We need more and more platforms that talk about women as trailblazers and change makers, which they already are. And that's when we launched Ananke. At about the same time, UN Women's Empower Women, their knowledge platform, was looking for a group of individuals who could raise awareness about women's economic empowerment and why it is important. And as you all know, women's economic empowerment, or empowerment in general, women's empowerment is important because women are half of the population of the world. And to have an inclusive and fair society, you need to be you need to include everyone on board. So then I got selected, and it was such a privilege to work with 72 other global champions, raising awareness about the importance of women's economic empowerment, and the rest, as they say, is history. So Ananke is a Greek goddess, pre-Titan, and even Zeus listened to her. And I'm a Greek fanatic, not a Greek mythology fanatic. So personal email is I'm Minerva, and my Twitter handle is Crito, at Crito. So it just made sense, and got inspired by Apple as well. So a different name, a catchy name. So yeah, that's why Ananke came into existence. And she's the goddess of inevitability and compulsion. She's a light source. I wanted, just from a professional point of view, I wanted something catchy. So that was one thing. And the idea was to always give voice and agency to the person who's being highlighted on the website, on the platform. So and it's more than a magazine. It's a platform. So that's exactly what I focused on, to show a woman's agency, to show her voice, which is already there. It just needs to be highlighted over and over and over again. So that was the main idea to begin with. It started with not having enough her stories. And by the way, this buzzword came, I started Ananke around about that time. Um when this keyword, her story, was being conceptualized. But actually, and it's something you might not know, the term her story came up when all the global champions for Empower Women, which included me, we came up with this idea, and we started a campaign on Empower Women, and that actually led to this becoming a buzzword. If you Google it, just Google Empower Women and her stories, you'll see that we created this campaign and started writing stories. And then we not we, the UN Women organization, basically they collaborated with Wikipedia, and all the editathons started in 2015, 2016. So uh, that's how basically it started. But going back to your question, yes, I wanted to document women achievements, but it goes way back as well. There are experiences that everyone faces, misogyny and unconscious biases, in their lives, be it, in Eastern society or Western societies. It's a global pandemic, just like the COVID, and it is systemic. But one thing that you know that has always been close to my heart, and it's a terrifying experience. Somebody, our hired help, her cousin, who I had seen her since she was a baby. Her brother had basically killed her in the name of honor. There was no honor in it. There never is honor in that. But it just made me, being a writer, it made me think. And it's really important to highlight issues of gender, issues of so many ills that are happening in the world. So that was another thing that led me to create this platform where we can all sit together, talk together. And it's not just about being, it's definitely not about being antagonistic. It's about uh, having a platform where everyone is on board, and everyone engages, and everyone talks about the issues that we're all facing together. Because let's face it, a woman's issue is everyone's issue, not just because she's your mom or your sister. Because being part of a society, you need to have that conversation so that you have a just, a fair, a tolerant society. uh, Everything is relative. When we were growing up, our parents used to say, this is not how we did things, or we did this and we did that. And I think we're doing the same with, but that is essentially where the similarity comes from. Um the youth at this point in time, first of all, now that we have the COVID-19 situation, we've entered a time which has never been experienced before. So what what you guys are experiencing now, it's something which has never happened. So the similarities ended pre-COVID, I think. But yeah, similarities, there are questions what that we used to face, and there are similar questions that you're facing, growing up, be it politics, there were different kinds of dictators then, and there are different kinds of dictators now, uh, fascists, and issues that women were facing then, women are still facing now. Just the structure may have changed, but similarities still exist. So yeah, we're kind of in the same boat, but with slight tweaks, and considering we've moved, this is the 21st century, this is 2020. So with every generation there are some newer things in place. So yeah, I think unconscious biases, at the top of my head. I run a platform that celebrates women, but I would confess that I may even I would have unconscious biases because they are so deeply entrenched in us. So definitely unconscious biases that we need to consciously and repeatedly be mindful of. So that's one thing. The other thing is that women themselves are, they're not just hard on themselves, but the glass ceilings uh, that we are all experiencing, we need to lift one each one of us together. So that's another thing. Women working with women, yes, a lot of good stuff has happened, but even McKinsey, if you read different reports from McKinsey, there are organizations that are working towards gender equality. Female quotient is one of them, and there's a lot of buzz now, but still systemic issues remain, from an institutional point of view, and from our point of view as well, from the social point of view. And one of them again is care work. Women are not just doing the first shift, they're doing the second, the third, and the fourth shift now that the COVID is here as well. Social injustice you face, yes, but I'm very vocal, and I don't, I've never taken it, sitting down. If something happens, I make it a point, to be very vocal about it, because it's not just me. Even before, even in 1997, 98, when these things were, her stories, or these things were, not said or not celebrated as such. uh, I was always of the opinion that if I don't raise a voice, you know and I am very aware of what is right and what is wrong, the other person, the other girl, might not have that power, or that voice, or she might be shy, or she might be an introvert, or she might think that it's wrong to say that, whatever reasons there may be. I think it was upon me as a person, as an individual, to stand up, to step up, and to raise voice, because if it's not me, then who's gonna, then who? I think what I'm going to say is something that not only will you, all of you, agree, but that is something that we all need to have, which is empathy. When you have empathy, and you're more sensitive to the other person, so be it unconscious bias, or care work, if you have empathy, you're going to own your responsibility, you're going to be sensitive to the other person's needs. So I think, and humanity deserves that. Not just humanity, every living being on this planet deserves empathy. Just look at, I'm diverting the subject, but just look at the world, our consumerism, the way we eat, the way we dress, everything lacks empathy, and that is what is devastating the earth. Look at climate change, look at the way we're destroying biodiversity. So it starts from us as an individual, to be sensitive, to be more in sync with our sensitive side. They unfortunate it is for me to say this, but I don't think they can recover at the same pace as men, because already the pay gap, for us to achieve is, I think it was 200 years or so, right? So exactly. So so the recovery point, and now you see reports and news where they're saying that women are being paid less, they're overworked, they're exhausted, because they're doing not just double shift, they're doing triple shift, because a lot of children are staying at home, and with work and with you know with professional work, professional, not professional, but with your career and your care work responsibilities, that women mostly do it all by themselves. So it's really hard for women to keep up, even though they're trying and they're doing their best. But there needs to be a sort of you know we need to adapt to the new reality that COVID is. And it's not a it is traumatizing. Yes, it's hard and everything, but we can create a new normal. We can create a reality which is equitable, um, so that once this is over, we step into a world that is inclusive and equitable. So companies are letting women go because um the women are the first, yeah, they're basically the first to be let go from their positions, from their jobs, because uh, they're unfortunately the easiest people. Organizations have an excuse to let them go. Something that I always say, um, you know, uh, be fearless, have empathy, be humble. I think if you're not humble, if you're not down to earth, you stop learning, and learning is an ongoing process. So never stop that. So that is something, if you stop learning, if you stop being humble, if you're arrogant, then the what you're trying to scale, what you're trying to achieve, you'll never get to it, because you've already you stopped yourself right in uh, the tracks. So always be humble, always strive to learn, even if it's from those who are younger or older than you. So, and be fearless. What's the worst that can happen? And be fearless, especially if you fail, because failing is a good thing, it's not a bad thing. Once you fail, that you've done this, and you can fail again until you succeed. So failure is a good thing, it's not a bad thing. So always do that. Not fail, but yeah, don't be disappointed if you fail. Get up and start doing whatever you want.